rabbi at Temple Bethel in Boca, Raton. And the special thing about the Passover Seder is that it's not just a time to sit around the table and read a book until it's time for dinner. Passover and the Seder are a time for us to experience for ourselves what it must have been like to be one of those Israelites that clawed their way to freedom after having been enslaved in Egypt. So each of the things that we do during the Seder is designed to get us to have that sense of experience. We eat the bitter herbs to remind ourselves of the bitterness of slavery. We dip the parsley in the salt water to remind ourselves of the rebirth of spring, but also the tears that our ancestors were made to feel and to suffer in the course of their experience of slavery. We eat the charoset, the sweet apples and walnuts and wine that reminds us of the mortar that our Israelites used to bake bricks for the Egyptians, but also reminds us of the sweetness of the liberation we were privileged to experience. One of my favorite parts of this Seder, though, is when we recite the plagues. Now, a full cup of wine is symbolic of complete joy. But one of the things I love about our tradition is that we are taught that compassion and love is of supreme and ultimate value. And so we empty some wine from our cup for each of the plagues. And we take our finger and we say, dam, blood, tzvardeya, frogs, kinim, lice, arov, wild beasts, dever, blight, shechin, boils, barad, hail, arbe, locusts, choshech, darkness, makat bechorot, the slaying of the firstborn. And then at our Seder table, we invite everyone to go around the table and to think of some of the plagues that exist in the modern world in which we live, things that we would love to see eradicated as those plagues were eradicated. We might say things like disease, or natural disasters, or enmity and hate, or hunger, any of the things that we would want to see eradicated from the earth, to remind us that plagues were not just an event in ancient times, but that the values of Passover live on in the way that we live our lives today. Now, don't drink the plagues. You want to wrap it in your napkin and clean up after yourself this way. And if you'll see, you've diminished the wine in your cup a little bit to remind ourselves that even though the Israelites were able to become free because of the suffering of the Egyptians, we don't celebrate the suffering of our enemies, even if it's for our own benefit. Chag Sameach. I hope you have a wonderful and a special Seder this year.